follow the money.
That's what I always say. You always follow the money.
Yeah.
This is Follow the Money with Mitch Moss and Pauly Howard on VSiN.
Welcome in. Awesome hour ahead. Paul Stone, professional sports bettor. Some of his best bets with analysis in college football coming up at the bottom of the hour. We continue now with another pro, Frank Betti. He's also in the Friday Football Invitational here at Circa, the contest that Matt Humans runs. He's won about 5 football contests in the past. If you are just tuning in right now, he told the story in the previous segment that I implore you to go back and listen to, and you can find the Follow the Money podcast wherever you get your podcast. He explained how he helped a friend who did not live here win a house several years ago. Has to do with making a different ID. It was great. So you lived here for, again, how long doing this professionally?
It was a little more than 30 years.
Okay.
Yeah.
Current state of Las Vegas compared to what it was like when you were still doing this professionally here during that time frame, and then what it's been like since COVID.
Well, yeah. Listen, as you develop as an AP, you kind of have a mindset where you want to win at everything. So it didn't matter what it was, whether it was versus the slot club versus the right, everything. Once you had everything done, you had the town wired. Everything, free gas, all kinds of stuff. Uh-huh. But also everything was affordable, because there was so much competition among not only resort properties, non-resort properties. It was just like you wake up in the morning, it's like there's 100 things to do. I get to do like a half a dozen of them today, but all of them are good. All of them, I have no problem with. Now, after being away for a few years, and you start to come back and you notice the changes, go, wow, can't do that anymore. Wow, look how much this is. You start to look at it and you go, I don't know if I would want to live here anyway, if I could, if I want, so much has changed. I mean, I went to dinner the other night at a place that there was nothing on it didn't seem like there was anything on the menu under $100, and that didn't, and they also called themselves a steakhouse, but it was at a nightclub. The music was booming, and vibrating and pounding, and the place was packed. Apparently nobody bothered them, the prices on the menu and everything. And I go, this is not what it used to be. This is not a steak. Andiamo is a steakhouse. Michael's is a steakhouse, and these just a lot of the old Vegas stuff is going by the wayside, and it's now this new trendier stuff, and everybody's $25 drinks, and I don't know. It's just not what it used to be.
They're shaking you down at every stop.
Right.
Between what's on the menu and then the drinks. And then how about you go to the bathroom and there's the guy who's handing you the towel and he wants
in this place, yeah, they're treated like a strip club.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that place right there, that's not my cup of tea. Some people like it.
Okay.
But I'm talking about, you start to notice every step of the way they're nickel and diming you. And the worst offender is MGM properties. They have a fee for everything. Everything from check in early, check in late. Do you want, when you order room service, do you want metal cutlery? That's an extra $25. Otherwise, we're going to give you plastic. Do you want to make a reservation over the phone? That's $25 if you want to talk to somebody live. They even have you over at MGM, I believe it's at every one of them. They have one of these rooms are called like Breathe Well or Stay Wells. And if you want to stay there, that's about an extra $30 versus the same room. And all they're doing is pumping in menthol air. They got you paying for air now. You're paying, so it's like parking, resort fees. I mean, it's just, it never ends. And I think it's going to continue to be that way. A reservation at Giada, I was here like early August.
Yeah.
I go to make the reservation, and you got these choices. Do you want to sit on the window? Sure. Okay, that's $125 per person per seat. So if you got a table of 4, that's an extra $500. You want to sit on the window?
You're kidding.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And so when you start to notice these things, you start to compare them the way things were in the past, and there just is no comparison.
When did it happen? When did it start?
Well, yeah, I think COVID was the turning point where they came back. They decided they needed to make some money back, and so we're not going to be giving away quite as much as we did before, and nobody objected. Everybody was just so happy to be out of the house and get back into the casino, and they came back and they said, okay, well, why should we go back to the way it was? Let's just keep doing it. And they did just progressively keep pushing more. I don't know what's coming next, but it's tough. You got to sit and pay. When have you ever had to pay to sit in a sports book? Now it's everywhere.
I'll tell you, I mean, when I got here originally, you could not only go and get like prime seats at a sports book, even if you were sitting there without any bets, you could drink all night for free. They won't even ask you. You're sitting in a sports book watching
just
games.
Take care of the girl.
What do you want to drink? Sure. Yep.
I mean, it's a totally different experience. But if the younger generation is willing to pay for that, you really can't fault the casinos for doing it. They're saying, well, we don't need to do that anymore. People are willing to pay for it.
Well, during this past summer, we would see reports like every single month, tourism down 10, 11, 12% in that neighborhood. Here at Circa, like they're smart. They were popping the entire year because they did the summer special. They had like the Slottapalooza. They're always thinking. Wheels are always turning here to have people in the seats. Stuff going on at Stadium Swim. But on the Strip, you hear 11, 12% down overall. And then you see prices like you're talking about. I mean, a beer, can you find a beer for below $15? I can't believe those words are even coming out of my mouth.
And the day I pay $14 for a Corona is the day I buy a timeshare from Vegas Dave. It ain't happening. It's too embedded in my DNA. Not that I don't want to pay for a drink at all. I don't know what that sounds like to people nowadays, but that's the way it was. I mean, you learn how to do a few things, to give a little action, to get election, and you don't have to pay to drink if and a lot of things, how to get a room, how to give a guy a meal because he looks like he's worth it and he looks like he will be worth it down the road. Not so much of that going on anymore. You got to prove it first, earn it first, then you can redeem it. We're not giving you anything on the come. I mean, but that's the attitude these days, and not encouraging.
I have it right here in your notes. A stay well room at MGM costs 30% more, and all you get additionally is supposedly better air, infused via a vent with menthol.
Right. Yeah. They have you paying for air now.
They're paying for air.
Right.
Think about that.
Have you seen the mini bar prices too? Like it's like
it's like $9.
I know, but it's like $9.
I got a terrible story about mini. Back in the day when I could get a room for myself and everybody else, I had my aunt come to town.
Yeah.
And I go, hey, don't worry, just go in there, and if you go to the restaurant, whatever, I'll take care of it on the back end. And so she took this to mean that everything was free. So I got the bill. I went to check them out after 5 days, and the lady goes, well, you got an $800 minibar bill. I go, how'd that happen? I go, that's got to be a mistake. So I talked to her. I go, Auntie, what's up with that? I go, oh, you said everything was free, so we took everything out of it every day. So they were empty, and they don't come to Vegas often. They don't know any difference. And I guess you got to be a little more specific. Yeah, but she was just emptying it every day. But they liked me enough back then. They said, okay, we understand. They forgave. They didn't make me pay for that. But that's, I can imagine doing that today. I don't think it's going to go your way.
Well, you're going to find, on the Strip again, you're going to find bottles of water for $23, $24, $25 in the minibar.
Right.
So back then, by the way, because I talked to you about this over lunch at the Fountain Blue last month, and you gave me great perspective of what this is before, way before, obviously, any other sports had legalized sports betting. Nevada was it. At its absolute peak, how many books were in Las Vegas?
Oh, there's a bunch.
And they came up with their own lines, right? They had their own people running stuff, and they would take bets.
Just right dead center Strip, I guess, you had right in a row, Frontier, Riviera, Stardust, Circus, those are all independent books. Desert Inn. Oh. It was bang right down the line, all the way down to the little ones, little places, Maxim, all these. We must have had 40 plus in the state.
Like a spot. Easy. And they all came up, they all had their own stuff.
But they didn't have Don Best back then or any of these wine services. So what you had is you had close to 50 different sets of lines. Just imagine if people were like as educated as they are now with the whole top-down method and all that. And just imagine what it was, you had guys running around up and down the Strip doing something similar to that. But it was just a matter of logistics and how much can you get? How far could you walk in a day? You had to have good shoes. You used up a lot of your shoe leather, and then you'd see the same guys here and there. Oh, he got that, But there was no source that you could go to look and see what every line was. You had to go and find it on your own.
Not only that, but you've said this before, right? Like you've worked in teams for a long, long time. Okay, so even back then, no cell phones.
Yeah.
So
it was
was it like
beepers, man.
Beepers and be at this payphone at 3:30. I'll call you then.
Yeah. Oh, the hottest spot in town, sports betting wise, was the payphone bank outside the Stardust.
That's right.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
You see all the guys out there. You want to find a runner, just go there, and you'd eventually end up there. Yeah. Like times change. You got to change with them.
Yeah.
I remember the first time when Don Best became even possible to make it portable. And I had a thing installed in my car where I'd have, it wasn't a laptop, it was something similar, but I had a little device that could connect to the internet, and so I could get the lines, and I'd sit outside Westgate, and and think, oh wow, now I'm a step ahead of these other guys. I got the line service, and I'm able to travel with it. It made a big difference. But everybody catches up, as soon as they see it. It's just like an NFL team. Somebody's doing something successful, everybody copies.
Yeah.
Uh-huh. Yep.
Very good. Yeah.
Yep. Our betting splits cut through the noise, pulling real-time data straight from Circa and DraftKings. Track the percentage of bets and handle on every game across every major sport so you can make sharper, more informed bets. Start your edge today, $9.99, vsin.com/subscribe.
If you were 23 years old right now, could you make it happen in Las Vegas?
Yeah, you could. It's a whole different set of, maybe not skills, but things that you'd have to go after. Like everybody knows, like the machine thing's a big thing now. And it's probably hitting a point of critical mass. It's, there's just so many guys that do it.
Sure.
When I travel around, I go, like, even all the poker guys, when they're on break, they're doing it. You got grandmas doing it.
Looking for multipliers and stuff.
Oh, yeah, well, better than that. I mean, the more you learn, the more you realize, like, if you're willing to be in the casino for that length of time, like 10 hours a day, 8 hours, 10 hours a day, yes, you can make a living doing it. There's a lot of competition, though.
My guess is you'd be a big fan of the quadruple zero roulette, which we're now seeing. Okay. Yeah. We started Survivor. We'll circle back and leave on a high note and get more thoughts on Survivor contest with Frank B coming up next year on VSiN.
This is Follow the Money on VSiN.
I don't know about you guys.
It's good to have you on board here. Follow the Money on VSiN, the Sports Betting Network. Rolling along with professional bettor Frank B. Frank Betti. He is in the Friday Night Football Invitational here as well, off to a nice start. We started talking Survivor with you. We can close with that here as well. Again, the book that you're helping out with Anthony Curtis, that should be available probably by October, around October.
It'll be out by October.
Okay.
Early October.
It's called All About Sports Betting. Can't wait to get my hands on that one as well. We'll have AC on, I'm guessing, in the next couple of weeks.
AC's going to write the Survivor sections.
Okay, very good. Do you have entries with him, or does he play on his own?
He takes a piece of mine, okay? And we've done that for years, and it's a good arrangement. He puts the picks in, because I'm not here most of the time. So it's a good arrangement. And I'll tell you what, though. Both he and I, we say the same thing every year. We get involved. We're going to do it this year. When the season comes around, yeah, we're in. And then it doesn't take long, and you go, I'm not doing this next year. It's too brutal, especially Survivor, okay? Because, what did it take, 2 weeks? I'm watching, I had Dallas on about half of my stuff, and I'm watching it with my four very old friends, and they have action on the games, but they don't have Survivor. So we're sitting there watching, and we're all like glass half full guys, but when it comes to Survivor, I am glass half empty. It's like you're waiting for the shoe to drop, and the game's going on, and instead of some being positive, it's like everything. It's like, oh my God, will the Cowboys receive any kickoffs without getting a holding penalty? Because it's like does everyone have to be like that? And it continues all the way to the end of the game, where, I'm sure we all said the same thing watching the Dallas game, on the play. Listen, there's one thing you can't do: don't let Malik get behind him. And you watch at the late fourth quarter play, and you watch the play develop, and you go, "What's going on?"
Right.
It's exactly what you're not. Didn't you hear me? I told you not to let that happen. Mm-hmm. Boom, it goes in, and it's like it doesn't end, and all the way to the end, and then the kicker bails you out, right? And then you're sitting there. You're supposed to be, I guess, happy, and they're going, "What's wrong with you? You won." And I go, "You got a point." I go, "Wait a minute. I didn't. What did I win? I didn't win anything. All I did is push this along to next week. I could have lost a bunch of money."
Yeah.
So it's like this dread. It's like impending doom. Is always there. And you got to ask yourself, why do you do it? Because do you remember last year when you got knocked out? Who was?
Of course.
Okay.
Yeah.
And how you felt that night, and the next day, and the next week, And it takes time to get. I mean,
it lingers.
We develop PTSD, our version of it, which would be post-traumatic survivor disorder. And it's a thing. People have it, and you say, "I'm not doing this. I'm not doing this to myself next year. I'm not going to do it." And then what happens? Springtime rolls around and starts to get, and then Derek, and probably calls his 2 henchmen in there, Jeff and Mike, and say, "Oh, well, how do we get them to play again?" They're all traumatized.
Yeah.
We had to start giving out condolence packages after week 2 and 3, just because everybody was so upset. What do? Let's make some more guaranteed money. Hey, how about this? How about a $100,000 contest? And you start to forget how bad, getting over it was. And you start to. It's like, what is it they call when you're like a Stockholm syndrome? Mm-hmm. You start to identify with your captor, the one that's causing you the abuse. You go, well, he's not so bad. Derek's a nice guy, and Jeff's one of us. Jeff gets in the Westgate Cup. Sure, we'll do it again, and then the whole cycle starts over again. And it's week 2, and you're going, why am I doing this to myself?
Yeah.
So, I mean, it is a brutal thing, but you love it and you hate it.
Really?
Well, you had the same experience. I think you shared an interview with Paul Bovey. And
that was it. Yeah, well, we had
Bovey got knocked out week 17, like a couple other people
had 2
with the
entries.
Colts. Yeah, he's just like I'm a Giants fan, and then they stick it to me, and I think that took Bovey months to get over because
me too.
He's probably not over yet.
Like I said, I remember the moment. I don't watch the games when it gets down that I shouldn't be watching any of these Survivor games.
That's what Bovey says.
No, I told him he did. I said, Paul, why are you watching them?
Yeah,
okay, because he sweats it just as bad as me, and I'm going, dude, don't do it yourself. Go to the beach or something, and then just check the score later. Because I remember, take all your pain at once. Sit there and watch the Dallas game like we did this week, and you're going, I can't believe this is going to happen. Dallas looked great against Philadelphia. The Giants, they got extra rest, everything, the whole thing. Sure, it's a good pick. It's not the most popular pick on the board. It fits all the credit. And then you're going, I'm going to be out. And a part of you is going, all right, just put me out of my misery now, because it's less than 1% chance that you're going to win this thing, and you're going to suffer at some point. And the longer it goes, the worse it's going to be for you. Just knock me out now.
Yeah, rip the Band-Aid right off. Right. That's a 4-hour sweat.
But we love it. As I say, why do we do it? I'm not. I'm trying to be light with this here.
No, of course I get that. But because don't you like with like the contest entries that you have with partners, don't you like the conversation that starts like every week on like Wednesday or whenever it might be?
I'll tell you what, I love Survivor because it's strategy. A lot of people rag on people that do contests and they employ strategy first and handicapping second. Well, if you go ahead and try to do that with Survivor, because you're always going to end up on the most popular pick, okay? You can end up, okay, all right, you're obviously taking Buffalo this week, right? Because that's the best, but that's not the way you play this. You have to do all kinds of different considerations to get you. And the one thing that I know is going to be a problem for people, because I went through it last year at the end, is when you have these collaborative entries. Mm-hmm. And it's because what happens? Mm-hmm. The 3 of us start talking. Oh, we're going to take. Yep. What do you end up doing? You end up arriving at a pick that's comfortable for everybody. I can live with that one. I can live with that one. So you end up being like kind of smoothing it out, and you're going with the consensus instead of putting it in the hands of one person. Say, this guy knows what he's doing. That's why I said that one, when I looked at that list, those guys, Survivor Atlas, I don't know those guys. I'm just looking. I can tell they know what they're doing by their picks. They were not on either one of those popular picks in the first 2 weeks, and they took Buffalo in week 2. And when you start to look ahead, you go, they know they're not. They're gonna. That's their strategy going forward. Like the guy who took Pittsburgh.
Right.
Okay, that guy had a value pick. I don't know if he knows what he's doing, if that was just something, but I don't have a problem with that. Everybody, it's a very difficult thing to accept. But everybody who bet in that 50% group, that's not the greatest pick.
If you watch the picks in Grandissimo, again, you were getting like 9 teams selected every single week. So they're trying to find those spots where I think I'm going to be the only entry on this team. They're within maybe like a 3-point favorite. Yeah, not all of them. Clearly not.
Right.
But it's like, I respect that. With a $100,000 entry, they're like, I'm going to take my shot right now because I'm convinced nobody else is going to be on this one, and I like this. I like this pick.
You're never going to get in the long run with this, and that's the other argument back at like playing game theory proper. It's like, well, I'm only playing this once. I don't want to get knocked out. And so I'm going to take. I'm comfortable with Buffalo this week. I'm going to pick. I'll figure it out next week. Whatever your rationale is for doing it, all I can say is that you're not going to. That's not the optimal. That's not the right strategy.
We showed a video poker royal flush earlier. The gentleman held ace 10 suited, and he got it. Randy McKay said, congrats, but not a good play. You'll do that if the progressive is 2.5 times higher. Yeah. Okay, excellent. Yeah. So the last time you were on, you told the story about you ran into a bit of an incident at Resorts World. But how big are these manipulators with the people who are losing on purpose, and then their buddy will come in and then grab the multipliers, but then the guy who loses gets the comps?
Well, that's what we were talking about earlier. Like to be an advantage player, strategies and tactics change over the years. Now the thing is, you want to take advantage of marketing department. That's where the money is. So what do these guys do? They go in and they try to manufacture a loss. Okay, so you play a machine. Whether it involves like playing like the easy one is Ultimate X. You play it, you set it all up, you pay the 10 coins, and then but you don't redeem when he has the multipliers. You leave and you let somebody else do it. And then the setup card is going to look good. It gets all the offers, and you extract money that way. Now, what you're referring to is I walked into a crew. I walked right into the middle of their play where they were doing that, but they were kind of a dippy crew, and they didn't do it right. You're supposed to have somebody sitting right next to you, so when you get up, the next guy comes and takes it down. Well, they just got up and left. The guy left, and I saw it on the screen. I go, well, he left this screen, and then I start to look through, and every single game had multipliers set up on high-limit machine. So I sit down and I start playing, and sure enough, the guys that did it and were supposed to take it down, they show up, and they blew a fuse. Like, how do we make this mistake? And a lot of threats went back and forth, like, hey, man, you're going to get arrested for doing that. My buddy got arrested. I'm like, all right, take my chances, whatever. But, yeah, that is a way, I end up taking down like $7,500. That was their money, and by the end of it, they were just beside themselves. I could hear them behind me on the phone. And they go, as I'm moving through from game to game, oh, he's playing that one. He's playing, And they're like, I go, guy, get used to it. I'm going to do them all.
That's right. Get used to it.
So, and then they start following me around the casino afterwards, trying to intimidate me. And I called Curtis and my other friend. I said, listen, you might have to get me out of here.
You called the wolf.
These guys are pretty upset right now.
Yeah. Oh, man, you're the best. Frank B., professional bettor. He's on X at Ties Win. Thank you. Could talk to you all day long. That was great. We'll catch up in a couple of weeks, probably.
Yes.
Okay.
Coming back soon.
Professional sports bettor Paul Stone next. Some best bets, detailed handicaps on each, and college football coming up.
Okay.
This is Follow the Money on VSiN.
Talk some college football here. Get some best bets with analysis from pro bettor Paul Stone as we head out now to the progressive guest line. Paul, thanks for the time today. We appreciate it. You can follow him on X at Paul Stone Sports. Before we get into your bets today, you had such a great breakdown last week of why you like Georgia and Tennessee. Ultimately, it did not get there because at the time they were 3.5. They won by 3 in overtime. My question to you is, Tennessee blew the game. How much did you raise Tennessee's power rating after that contest?
I tell you, Mitch, I raised Tennessee by 1 point and Georgia I lowered by 1 point. And I don't always do congruent changes on teams after a common game. But I tell you what, this game meant to me, and not to take anything away from Tennessee, but Georgia's defense is not nearly what it's been under Kirby Smart in some of these recent seasons. And I'll be quick here because I know we've got a lot to get to. But against Tennessee snapped the ball 70 times. They scored 38 points in regulation, 70 snaps. Georgia only had 1 sack and 2 tackles for loss. I know it was 2 games last year against Texas, but against Texas last year in 2 games, they had 13 sacks and 25 tackles for loss. They only had 1 sack and 2 tackles for loss against Tennessee. That's not Georgia defense. I think the Dogs are, you can't win and contend for national championships every season. You got to have a hiccup every once in a while, and I think Georgia's having theirs as we speak.
Very good. Big clash in the SEC again this weekend. Oklahoma, about 6.5-point favorites against Auburn here. Oklahoma's looked great so far. Do you like them in this game?
I tell you, both these teams have really looked good. I mean, you look at Auburn, they went to Baylor on that Friday night, week 1, beat the Bears 38-24, ran for over 300 yards. And then Oklahoma, week 2, they take on a blue blood Michigan 24-13. And Oklahoma, in my opinion, they were in control the whole time, looked like the superior team. You look at Oklahoma, though, man, and it's all about John Mateer. You've got to start with the Washington State transfer quarterback who followed ultimately his 29-year-old offensive coordinator, Ben Arbuckle, who left for Washington State to Oklahoma in December to take the offensive coordinator's job this past December. Mateer ultimately follows him, and it's been a windfall for Oklahoma to be sure. A whole lot to like about both these teams. I just like Oklahoma's roster just a little bit more. Certainly they're at home. The wild card, again, it just comes back to John Mateer. This is a guy that seems to be a man on a mission. He plays with moxie. He plays with a little attitude. Maybe not as much attitude as Diego Pavia, but nobody plays with that much attitude. But he's got, he just seems to have that it factor. He's a dual threat guy. Last year at Washington State, almost 4,000 total yards, almost passed for over 3,100 yards, ran for another 800 plus. So this guy's a dual threat guy. He's got some receivers. Last year, Oklahoma ranked near the bottom in virtually every passing statistical category with Jackson Arnold, now the Auburn quarterback, and Michael Hawkins Jr. splitting time. This year, however, they're near the top in virtually every passing category. Deion Burks, 17 catches for 225 yards, a couple of touchdowns. I think Oklahoma's going to throw the ball on Auburn. Auburn gave up over 400 passing yards in that victory over Baylor. The Sooners by 7 or more over Auburn.
All right, sounds good. I have a similar opinion on this game. You have a side and a total. Baylor at home against Arizona State. The Bears 2.5. Something not right with the Sun Devils. That slow start week 1, and then the slow start in the first half of week 2. Couldn't punch it in from the 1-yard line several times, and then the kid hits them deep for the game-winning touchdown, and it's bedlam. What do you think of Baylor and Arizona State?
Yeah, Arizona State, just like you said, Pauly, they just don't seem to be on the the right page so far this season. Obviously, they lost Cam Scattaboo. That's a huge amount of production. But in that loss to Mississippi State in Starkville in week 2, Blake Shapen, Mississippi State's quarterback, threw for 279 yards, averaged 8.5 yards per attempt. And while Mississippi's passing attack is good, it's not anywhere in the same league as Baylor's, in my opinion. You've got Sawyer Robertson, a guy in his first 2 games this year against 2 quality opponents, Auburn and SMU. He passed for over 400 yards against both those teams, threw for 419 again in the loss to Auburn, threw for 440 yards in that overtime victory at SMU. And in those first 2 games that I spoke of, Baylor averaged a robust 8.8 yards per attempt. They've got a lot of receivers to cover, makes it very difficult. They've had 3 guys already have 100-yard receiving games. Josh Cameron, Ashton Hawkins, and Cole Wilson. Got a tight end, Michael Trigg, who's also a threat. He was second team All Big 12 last year. He's got 13 catches, for 152 yards. And I didn't mention another guy, and that's Kobe Prentice, the transfer from Alabama. He only has 10 catches on the year, but 4 of those have gone for touchdowns. So you kind of got to pick your poison with this Baylor offense. I think they're going to score a lot of points. I think they're going to beat Arizona State by 3 or more points. But I think Arizona State's going to score as well. I mean, this Baylor defense, we saw them get gashed on the ground against Auburn in that opener. The Tigers rushed for 307 yards. Averaged almost 6 yards a carry. In Arizona State, they've played, other than the game at Mississippi State, it's been a pretty easy schedule, but the Sun Devils have rushed for over 200 yards in each of their first 3 games, averaging 6.1 yards per carry. Rayleigh Brown's been their top guy on the ground, 292 yards, over 8 yards a carry. I think they're going to run the ball on the Baylor Bears. I think it's going to be a high-scoring game. Baylor minus 2.5. And Arizona State Baylor over 59.5.
Very good. Follow the money here on VSiN, the Sports Betting Network. Our guest, professional sports bettor Paul Stone. He is on the Progressive Guest Line. You can follow him on X at Paul Stone Sports. High total here between TCU and SMU. 64.5, I think, is the most common number available as we speak. You mentioned that Baylor SMU game. That was nonstop offense the entire time. The game was played in the 40s. Also, TCU, they're 2-0. They've scored in the 40s both times. In both those games, are you expecting fireworks here?
I tell you, these are two really good offenses. And when these Interstate 30 rivals who are separated by about 35 miles, when they've gotten together in recent years, it's meant a lot of offense, a lot of fireworks, starting back in 2019. And they didn't play in 2020 due to the pandemic. But starting in 2019, their last 5 meetings, on 4 of those occasions, they've combined to score 76 or more points. So these teams have been, high scoring when they meet. In the last 4 meetings, the total has closed at 63.5 or thereabouts in 3 of those meetings. So this total of 64.5 is right in the neighborhood that it's been in these recent meetings. Again, this year, each season certainly is unique. You start over, but these rivals, again, in my mind, as I look at their rosters, they appear to be more offensive than defensive minded once again. Both of them have experienced quarterbacks, guys starting for their second season. You have SMU, Kevin Jennings. He's done an excellent job, led them to the playoff last year. And then at TCU, you have an underrated guy, a guy that the NFL scouts actually love, Josh Hoover. So you got 2 really good quarterbacks. TCU passes the ball a high percentage of plays. Last year, they passed the ball about 57% of their offensive plays. In their opener against North Carolina, it was lopsided, 48-14, obviously coasted in the fourth quarter, but they still passed the ball on more than 50% of their plays, 37 of those 72 offensive plays against the Tar Heels. Another nugget, I think, of good news for those seeking points on Saturday in Fort Worth, SMU tight end R.J. Maryland. He's the son of former NFL standout Russell Maryland. He missed much of last year due to an injury. Mm-hmm. He's played in SMU's first 3 games, coming into form. He's a big-time weapon for Kevin Jennings. I just think it's going to be a high-scoring game. I use a formula to project offensive plays, the number of offensive plays. It projects 148 plays, which is quite a few. I like this game to once again be high-scoring, SMU and TCU over 64.5.
Very good. Love the homework. Love the analysis, Paul. Thanks so much for popping on the show, as you do every single Tuesday. Best of luck this week with the bets. Thank you.
Absolutely. You guys have a great weekend. Good luck to you guys as well.
Back at you. He's on X at Paul Stone Sports, and he joined us here via the Progressive guest line.
I got a good source on that game, and it's from SMU. Sky is falling. No pass rush, concerned about the defense. Just bad juju going on right now. And to lose that game against Baylor at home, and they were trailing right before halftime against Missouri State.
I know.
And it's what happened last year. Dykes, I think the line is telling that TCU's laying up to 7 in that game, as that was over 100.
That's a big line, right?
Yeah, they ran it. Well, they ran it up on them last year. They scored a 60-burger. I think they had 3 defensive or special teams touchdowns in that game. SMU put it on TCU. So, and also SMU getting off to slow starts as well. Right. So you go TCU game in first half.
This TCU offense is, I think, the real deal. Up next, we'll break bread inside Mitch and Pauly's Pizzeria. Long shot bets that would pay out handsomely. The U of Bet, the tip jar is open on Follow the Money. It's VSiN, the Sports Betting Network.
This is Follow the Money on VSiN.
Hungry for a winner? Sometimes all you need is a slice.
You make this pizza?
We swap pepperoni for parlays and give you alternate lines instead of anchovies.
I'm telling you, this pizza idea is really gonna happen.
From our kitchen to your wallet, sweat with us and throw some pizza money on it.
Double meatball, pepperoni, sausage, peppers, onions, extra mozzarella.
Welcome to Mitch and Pauly's Pizzeria.
Every Tuesdays now, Mitch and Pauly's Pizzeria tip jar, sponsored by Mama's Pizza. Mama's Pizza, the only place where your pizza money gets you a win. Check them out at mamaspizzas.net and the Mama's Pizza on Instagram. I did one today. Chargers, Packers, Buccaneers, division champs. Georgia Tech to make to make the playoff, 12-1. Brad Powers, who's on the show tomorrow, says Georgia Tech could be a touchdown favorite in their next 8 games before they host Georgia.
I looked at their schedule today.
Yeah.
It's absolutely doable.
Yes.
It really is.
And banked 2 wins already, did big wins. To beat Clemson and to beat Colorado.
Are you a little bit afraid of the Buccaneers?
No, I feel good about them.
Oh, do you?
Yeah, meaning Atlanta. Well, I respect Atlanta, yeah, but I already got them with the road win.
Yeah. I'm the injury here last night again. And then Mayfield, the way that he's just such a trooper. He wants to win every game so badly and puts his body on the line on so many plays.
But help's coming, though, too. I know they lost a key defensive player, but as you said earlier, they're getting Godwin back and they're getting McMillan. Back. Yeah.
So I'm asking because I tied them in at 2 division parlays before the season started.
Yeah, right.
So.
Yeah. Always tweet at us, send them in, or email ftm@vsin.com. Rich in Canada. He's always at it. This is the guy who's got Blue Jays and Brewers to win the division. I mean, this is so good. The big tickets he's sitting on, not to mention the Padres, which they're only 2 back. Toronto and the Brewers win the division. Illinois makes the playoff. Bills go over 11.5. Canadians make the playoffs. Hamilton Grey Cup, 917-1. Why not? Illinois got the big one this week. I know nothing about the Grey Cup. In the CFL.
Let me check. I'm gonna try to get Hamilton's record here. I'll try to track it down here in a minute.
Joshua in Louisiana. Red Sox win the American League. Utah wins the Big 12. Rams win the NFC West, 116-1. You're cooking.
Okay.
You get Anthony back. Red Sox danger with that rotation.
Anything can happen in the American League for sure.
Yeah, Utah's got the huge game Saturday at home to Texas Tech. Ron in Virginia. Florida State wins the ACC. Ohio State wins the Big Ten. Georgia wins the SEC, 184-1.
Actually, the leg right now that I would question the most would be Georgia.
Yeah, that's right.
Florida in the ACC looks great at this point. By the way, the Tiger Cats and Hamilton, they're 8-5 on the year. And they are in first place the way it appears in the East Division.
Okay. James in California. Cam Ward, Offensive Rookie of the Year. Abdul Carter, Defensive Rookie of the Year. Schwarber leads in home runs, 250-1.
All right, so he bet that one a while back. There's no question because Schwarber now is 1 back of Cal Raleigh, by the way.
Uh-huh.
He had another one last night. He's got 53.
Well, no, it's just you're up against it. Cam's going to have a long year.
Yeah, again, how many games can they win?
I know. I can't. I think that was so mispriced between how low Genty was.
I agree.
With Cam. Oklahoma wins the SEC. Phillies win the World Series. Denny Hamlin NASCAR title, 389-1. Troy in South Dakota.
Here's another one. Let me go to NASCAR real quick.
Okay.
Because the other ones are. I've had people.
A lot of people have reached out again about Oklahoma, but I'm telling you, I love them. But the last 7 games are against ranked teams.
Oh, it's a brutal schedule. They look great. I've had respected people, people who I respect, tell me that they have recently bet Oklahoma to win the SEC. Denny Hamlin's in first place right now in the overall NASCAR standings.
4-1. He said the shock. Okay. Weston, guy in the cornfields. Kyle Shanahan, Coach of the Year, 20-1.
Made a great breakdown today on his Twitter feed, guy in the cornfields. I kind of referenced this yesterday on the show. I think it's going to work offensively.
You would like more Mac Jones starts.
Yeah, for
with
this,
wins, yes.
I would agree with that.
Yes.
And I bet them today on the money line, -120 to beat Arizona in the game.
Yeah.
Because, you know what, I'll expand on that a little bit later on.
Lynx win the WNBA, USA Ryder Cup, Phillies National League, James Madison Sun Belt. No playoffs, Chiefs. Cavs title?
Yeah.
Peter.
It is title.
760-1.
The Cavs title is the biggest.
It's not bad.
Yeah.
Where do I got my record?
Well, put it this way.
Phillies have the best home record. I think we're one of the 51-24 at home. A great pitching staff.
Yeah, there's certainly an angle, Pauly, where the first 5 are going to be there, and they're going to be done by what would be the latest date on that? Kansas City not to make the playoffs, right? So that would be like January. And then so he has the rest of the time, if they're going to be looking good and getting there, he can get creative with the Cavaliers then.
Jameis, Liverpool repeats. Phillies National League, LSU wins it all. Bills Super Bowl, 800-1.
Okay, I truly think that Liverpool to win the EPL should be a common anchor for cross-sport parlays.
Right. LSU has no offense.
No, none.
And Brian Kelly getting all hot and bothered. Dude, you had 5 interceptions and couldn't put them away.
Scored, 20 points with 5 INTs?
The guy's completely out of his mind. The reporter's doing a good job. You had the front runner for the Heisman, and you can't move the ball.
Of course.
With 5 picks, again, you couldn't move the ball. Packers win the division. Diamondbacks make the playoffs. Hello, they're a game and a half back. Indiana makes the playoff again. USA Ryder Cup, 113-1. Ryan in Indiana.
I mean, the Diamondbacks thing is completely live.
This came out of nowhere. They were 9 back a couple weeks ago. Not even.
Yeah, when we were talking about the Giants and then eventually betting them to make the playoffs, what were the Diamondbacks? I don't even know if they were listed.
Oh, no, they were sellers at the deadline. Forget it.
Right.
Sky high price. Another huge game tonight as they beat them last night.
For Ryan in Indiana, huge game this weekend for the Hoosiers.
Right.
On this ticket, right?
Play Illinois.
Yep.
Right. Good job, Robert. I was thinking about it when we were talking about the Monday night game at the top of the show. Geno Smith, most picks, 22-1.
Yeah, he bet that August 12th.
Okay, you got the hat trick last night.
I did not see. Look, we've been on the air now for almost 2 hours. I was looking right before the show started.
I couldn't find it either.
I did not see any book repost that number yet today. I'm sure they're going to come up probably later on tonight or tomorrow. But certainly he was horrendous last night and could have had 5-6 INTs.
Yep.
And, I mean, if that number is anything above 10-1, which I doubt it will be, but it's going to have to be a go.
Hello. Connor. Asia Wilson MVP 50-1.
Okay.
Oh, my God. She's $9 now. Last check.
I think there's an email on this, hold on, that I can maybe circle back to. You know what? I'm seeing it right now. FTM@vsin.com is always the email here. Connor sent this in. He lives in Pennsylvania, I'm sorry.
Okay.
So he was in Clearwater, Florida to watch his brother play baseball in August. He's in the Phillies organization, and he saw that the Hard Rock there had a rogue 50-1 on Wilson, and he got down a pretty decent amount on it as well. Man, great observation by him.
Yes. Jim in Maryland. Thunder, NBA Finals, Phillies World Series, Eagles Super Bowl, 136-1.
So Thunder and...
The Thunder's already a winner.
Oh, it's already a winner. Okay,
yeah.
Good deal.
All right. And flip, again, we got an answer to this question. What if the Rams play the Chargers? If they both host the conference title games, one of them would be Monday night. Chargers AFC, Rams NFC, Dodgers World Series. All LA parlay, 540-1, flip.
They're on some USC to win the Big Ten.
That's right.
Or to make the playoff.
And our guy Ozzy always checking in. He's like you, Egbuka, Offensive Rookie of the Year at a big price. And Dampier, Heisman, 60-1.
Well, Tim Murray would agree with that.
Yeah.
Host here on VSiN Primetime following us. He was all about Dampier in the offseason.
Big game Saturday for his case.
Did I tell you this? This was on the podcast today I did with JVT called Pod to the Futures, debuting today. Going to be out a little bit later on today up on YouTube and also wherever you get your podcasts. I did bet Herbert in that Week 1 Friday night game against the Chiefs at 25-1 to win the MVP.
Yes.
I mean, I'm watching something with my eyes. I'm like, they're not even trying. They don't care about running the football.
Yeah.
They're letting him cook the entire game.
Yeah.
That's what we want with Herbert.
That was another one.
We've been begging for that.
We're watching 2 first-round picks, and they won't use them short yardage, or they won't give the guys the ball.
Oh, my God.
Couldn't open up holes. Let's go. Let's get these franchises up to 20. Let's get one here in Las Vegas. Love Mama's Pizza. Best pepperoni I've ever had. Best meat lovers. Chicken and bacon with Alfredo sauce. The garlic butter on the crust. It's the dough. It's the ingredients. It's the pound of mozzarella on every large pie. Football fans, there's one a half mile from Jerry's World. 817-870-2571. Franchise opportunities. 817-870-2571. Also, the big hit we talked about last week, the cauliflower crust and the gluten-free. The crust is on steroids. How they do it, how they roll it, it's phenomenal. And the wings are awesome. Love Mama's Pizza. Proud sponsor of Follow the Money, mamaspizzas.net. The Mama's Pizza on Instagram.
We got a big reaction when I talked and I added on my 2 cents to the cauliflower crust last week. So I was a man of my word. I went out on Sunday and I had a cauliflower crust pizza, and it was delicious.
All right.
Oh, yeah. Very good. Up next, today's Major League Baseball card. A phenomenal pitching matchup starts in the next 45 minutes, and the Phillies clinched the NL East last night. You know what to do. If not, we'll tell you coming up.